Okay, and first of all, we're grateful that it is really a great event. As Brother Abdurrahman said, we are in the midst of the blessed month of Ramadan, where community strength, unity, brotherhood, sisterhood is shown more in this month than any other month, where we feel, compassionate and considerate towards those who have less, those who don't have, that much to eat or water to drink or a place to stay. This is the time that humbles us to say that, I'm walking the walk now. I feel the hunger. I feel the thirstiness. So now I know how, people who have less feel also. So also it is a time of being together, as Abdurrahman said, and, community time. If you go to every mosque, any mosque in this area, and you'll see people, coming together and eating together, if there is, food to eat together. Nowadays, because of what had happened, the economic impact that ICE surge, had on this community, some mosques which used to give an, hot meal every evening are now just giving water and dates. Because the community who was supporting that, task and that important, vital, community gathering are not able to do that. Businesses are down. Some of them are, went out of business, and some of them are struggling. So, but it's we're still coming together. We're still drinking water and eating dates at the mosques and praying together. So, and we also thank God for allowing us to have this Ramadan when ice melted. Both ices melted. The one that was masked up and with guns terrorizing the community left and melted, and hopefully they never come back to our cities and to our state. And the other ice, which is, we don't have that problem with that one, right? We just shovel out. It's the early thing that comes up, and we're good with that. It's a nature that Allah gave us, God gave us, different time, different weathers, and we don't have any problem with that. So, and in this month, we are celebrating, we are grateful, we are thankful to our neighbors, to our brothers and sisters, to people who stood up with us all together. The unity that Minnesota showed was really amazing. It was never like before. And we're very grateful of that. And I always say that. There is a saying of the Prophet in which he says, "Man la yashkuri nasa la yashkuri Allah." Whoever does not appreciate people does not appreciate God as well. It does not say appreciate Muslims. It says an-nas, which means people. Whenever, you get help from someone, you should say thank you. Be appreciative. So we appreciate that. And we believe our future as Minnesotans is together. We're going to the same way. We live in the same place. We have same inspirations. We're being affected by every trial and tribulations that comes. We share every benefit that we have. So we're together. That shows that we stand together as well. So we stood together, and we appreciate that. We appreciate our public officials who really were outspoken and, seized the moment to say the right thing and to take the right position. Including our mayor, I really appreciate. We couldn't have a better mayor for the city of Minneapolis, especially in the time of difficulties. Where Brother Hassan Azhari was. Brother Hassan Azhari was saying he moved from Seattle to here. So because this is better, right? So I'm just quoting him. He said, at the time of difficulties, leaders come out. Real leaders come out at the time of difficulties and show up for the moment. So you showed up for that moment. We really appreciate that, and thank you so much. After that, I would like to go. Our Hennepin and County Commissioner, and Sharif, I should say, is here with us. Welcome. We just started. Thank you so much. we're glad that you're here today with us. And you missed it a little bit, not a lot. You can catch up, right? So, and we are expecting other officials as well, right? Okay. So this is how we're going to do it. Hopefully, we're going to ask questions, simple questions, to our public officials, and then, am I missing some people? Okay. I'm sorry if I'm not familiar with the officials.
No, we have
we have the mayor. We have our state auditor Julie. MashaAllah, welcome. And the sheriff.
Columbia Heights House Rep.
House Rep. Jonathan. Simon. Yes. Simon is a good friend of ours. We know him. He knows few Somalis as well. Some for Somalis. Yes. And he has been to Somalia too. Oh, the mayor graduated from Somali language. Don't even ask him. So, and he always starts with Somali words. Yeah, so, and welcome all of you. We'll start with questions. And whoever has a question can add to that as well. It's kind of like an open mic. We don't want to restrict anyone. And everyone here is very important. But that does not mean everyone will have time to speak. And so we'll start. And I would like to start with our mayor. And two questions that both are, back to back. And then you can add your remarks, whatever else you want to add to. The question is, over the past several months, many immigrant families in the Twin Cities experienced fear and uncertainty due to the immigration and enforcement activities. I'm not sure if I can call it immigration and enforcement activities. I'm not comfortable with that. It was a violation of our rights. And rebuilding trust between communities and public institutions is essential moving forward. From the city perspectives, how can Minneapolis strengthen trust, communication, and collaboration with the immigrant community so that all residents feel respected, protected, and included in the future of our city? That is the first part of the question. The second part of the question is, I'm just adding it from, later on. It is the issue of the aftermath. People are struggling with rent in this area. And I was just talking to Amy about that as well, who is from this neighborhood and this area. And a few days ago, I was talking to one of our great sisters who helps people with rent as well. And I know Minneapolis and Foundation and City of Minneapolis put $1 million to Minneapolis Foundation, and $3 other million were put by some corporations. We met the CEO of an U.S. bank, and as you know, U.S. bank has an issue of contracting with ICE, and we were talking to them about that, and they told us that they have collected, a good amount of $3 million in that, foundation. But we don't know how accessible is that. If people know that, how can they benefit from it? Will there be a possibility that we meet with them as well? And, so that we can connect them with people who need, whether it's a business, issue, people where business owners are struggling, or residential. So now it is to you. I need to give you this. Okay, hold on, I'll give it to you. It's okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you to Imam Yusuf and Abdi, to the Somali Community Action Coalition, as well as the Somali American Leadership Table. It is a great honor to be here with you, especially on Ramadan, and to be joined by so many extraordinary community leaders, my friend over here, Simon Troutman, our auditor, Julie Blaha, our great sheriff, Dewana Witt, who, by the way, has done a phenomenal job through some of the most difficult of times. Navigating these circumstances is certainly not easy, providing both for the safety as well as countering these really unconstitutional acts is often a very difficult tightrope to walk at times. And she and so many others just did an incredible job through the toughest of times. And I want to really say how grateful I am to our Somali and East African community. I want you to know how we consider you a family here. I hope you feel that every day, especially when you have a group of federal agents marching down the street coming after you, trying to terrorize people and rip families apart. You got to know, and I want you to know, that Minneapolis residents, people throughout our city, and public officials will universally stand up for you. And it's important to go back to the very beginning stages of how this got going. I believe, and I'm speculating in part, but I believe there was someone from very high up in the Trump administration that said, go to Minneapolis, arrest, detain, and deport a bunch of Somalis. And there wasn't the necessary pushback on that directive, only for them to get here and realize, hang on a second, they're Americans. They have citizenship, they have green cards, refugee status, they are here legally, they're contributing greatly to this community. They're more Minneapolis than I am. They've been here for decades. And you all have made this economy better, our business climate better, our culture. You are what makes Minneapolis, Minneapolis, and we are so proud and honored to have you. It's all the more important that we stand up for each other, especially during these times. And so your question first was, how do we build back trust? The violations that we saw were things that I never thought that I would witness in my entire life. These marauding gangs of agents marching down the street, discriminating only on the basis of, are you Somali or are you Latino, and indiscriminate pickups thereafter. You can't do that in Minneapolis. You can't do that in America. We have seen this in other countries, but here in this country, we've got to stand up and say, that's not okay, and we're going to do everything possible to help. You asked about rent. When people are afraid to go outside, they can't go to work. When they can't go to work, they don't get wages. And when they don't get wages, they can't pay the rent. And so there are groups of people around the city who have been providing very important mutual aid assistance. And people have been donating to a number of philanthropies that allow for rent to get paid. Second, the city of Minneapolis has come through with over $1 million worth of rental assistance that you can access. Third, we're going to try to find even more money that can go to provide people this gap funding. Now, it's important to note that it won't last forever, okay? So we got to get the money to the people that need it most, and then we also got to find ways to get back to work safely, because we got to reboot this economy. We got to get all of these businesses, Somali businesses, Latino businesses, open, running, and they got to be supported by the rest of us. And so what that means, and what I've been telling people, whether you're white or Somali or Jewish or Muslim, it doesn't matter. It's one of the easiest asks that I could possibly make. Head over to Cedar Riverside. Buy some incredible food. Get some sambusa. Head over to East Lake Street. Buy a beautiful dress. Get some taco. Buy some insurance. Whatever it may be, we've got these incredible entrepreneurs that have been through a rough time, and it's on all of us now to stand up for them. And so especially on a time like Ramadan, when we recognize that, Imam Yusuf, I forget the exact phrase, but you show your love for God by showing your love for your community members. Close to that anyway. Wabalayiri. I want to make sure that we are all doing the additional work right now to stand up for each other, and you all have done so in beautiful form. And so I'm proud to be here. Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem. Thank you to the work of these organizations here, and I'm grateful for my friends and my family here around me. Maat Sened. Thank you, Abdi.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor Jacob Fry, we really appreciate those comments and that you made. And as you said, we still don't know the real effect and impact that had on our community. There is no, and that I know of a real assessment, needs assessment. So we really appreciate if that could be also something that we can work on. Okay, that would be great. Yes, please. Yes.
They're very big numbers. Yeah, and I'm sure auditor over here can audit the hell out of these numbers. So the damage has been incredible. We're talking about $203 million of impact in total. Around $75 million of impact to small local businesses in January alone. $46 million in impact to wages. There's millions and millions of dollars in need for rental assistance and support. There's somewhere in the range of $15 million in losses to hotels, and there's even more loss coming because a number of conventions and large events have canceled. At the city of Minneapolis, in January alone, we had over $6 million worth of additional cost, 5.3 of which was in overtime. And so these numbers that I'm telling you, that's just January. That doesn't count February. That doesn't count whatever losses were experienced in December. That's like 1 month. And this amounts to between $10 and $20 million per week for small and local businesses, per week. And so all this to be said, we need people patroning their small local businesses. When you talk to your friends, your family, whoever you're on the street talking to, tell them to help out. Get up, go out, patron these businesses, go to these restaurants. You can do your part, yes, by donating money. Yes, of course, by carrying a whistle and document what's taking place. But as those actions are dramatically decreasing, there's an action that needs to dramatically increase, which is patron these businesses. They need help. And then that money can in turn support people in their rent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I felt that was worth it to say. Yeah.
Yes, it is absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. Julie, I'm sorry if your question was answered, but I'll ask you another one.
Oh, no, I'm just so excited about that.
Absolutely.
Well, places, like you said, haven't
Yes.
had the capacity to put those numbers on.
Yes.
So this is, the fact that Minneapolis could take the lead on getting some numbers down there so people can get some sense of
Yes.
scale, that was huge.
Okay, I'll ask you about the state level, if you don't mind, later on.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. And so thank you so much for that. And that is only 1 month, as you said. And this is really very painful. We'll go to, thank you so much, Mayor. We really appreciate it. And we're going now to next to, and the sheriff is here, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, wait, let me think. No, this is the commissioner. I'm going to ask Julie first. I'll come back to the sheriff. And immigrant, this question is for Minnesota State Auditor Julie Plaha. Welcome again, and nice to meet you. Thank you. And immigrant-owned businesses contribute significantly to Minnesota's local economy, as you know, and play a vital role in creating vibrant commercial districts across the Twin Cities. What opportunities exist for a stronger partnership between government institutions and community organizations to support immigrant entrepreneurs and ensure they have equitable access to economic resources and long-term growth opportunities? Just want to add to that, when we created that table of SALT, Somali American Leadership Table, and Abdi is the co-chair of this table, and you know, it gathers many organizations, and every organization in that table was doing something specific. And some of them were helping people who are struggling with rent. So one of the sisters who had an organization, as of last month, she helped about 19 families with their rent. So as a community, we're trying our best. Some of the people were distributing food, and groceries. So what at the state level, what will the state level be able to do to help businesses who are struggling and to restart and be able to access resources and long-term growth opportunities? You can add the numbers as well. I asked the mayor. Yes,
Thank you. Oh, I'm really excited to have the chance. Thank you. I'll cover. Hey, don't look. He just has to go to that other job. Again, thank you so much for allowing me to answer this, to speak to this question. To be clear, I kind of came here to hear your answers to it. So I'm hoping that we get some feedback here. But lately, my biggest message has been about how the ICE surge, even as we have fewer ICE agents in Minnesota, we are still going to feel the effects of this for months, for years, and that this is not a past tense thing. When we talk about the effects of the damage from the ICE surge in Minnesota, that's a present tense statement, and it is a statewide statement as well. I think a lot of people have been surprised across Minnesota just how much effect ICE has had in rural areas, in suburban areas. I live up in the city of Ramsey. For those of you who know political history a bit, Jesse Ventura had his highest vote counts where I live. Okay, so if you know Michelle Bachmann, we went to the same high school. That's a very conservative area. And when Elk River's Hong Kong buffet shut down because they were raided for a couple weeks, people realized, oh, this is everywhere. Oh, this is not the worst of the worst, because we know this family. And those connections, I think, were helpful. And this is one of the most successful businesses in Elk River. So we talk about this effect. It's going to ripple throughout the state, and it's going to go for a while. What I would like to see is some of the things we did during COVID. We did learn during COVID some of the things that are successful. One of the best ways to help the economy is put money in it. I mean, let's just say it straight out. It's if you want businesses to survive, give them money so they don't go under. And so I really hope that the legislature can take up the bills that they have before them to give direct support to businesses. Because, by the way, every dime you put in there is going to come back as an investment. It's going to multiply. I talk to people about tax increment finance. So if you ever want to get nerdy, let's get real nerdy. Very complicated, but it's the idea that we put a little money in at the beginning, we get a lot more at the end. And so we need to look at this as not just aid, but investment. This is the kind of thing that's going to, again, return to the entire community, the entire state. So that's what I'm hoping that people realize. If you lost money, give people money. Just like if you lost a home, you get a home. I mean, let's just make it. It doesn't have to be complicated. We make it very direct on here. And also, again, I think we have to keep telling that story that it's not over. That this is going to have a long-term effect, and people can't move to the next thing, because if they do. When you all have to figure out your next property tax thing, it's not going to be pretty. So it's definitely, I think Minneapolis, you are all taught the whole state things that they need to hear. They need to see how incredibly foundational our immigrant communities are in our business community. That if you lose immigrants from our business community, we're done. We're done. We're not going to be able to make it. And also that this is a long-term event. But I'm also looking forward to hearing what you all are thinking. This is what do you need? A lot of you are more deeply connected even than I am. But again, I thank you for keeping the attention on this. And you're not just helping Minneapolis, you're helping the whole state and, frankly, the whole country with this discussion. But let's not let them take an economic attack on us and then walk away. Because this is a coordinated economic attack. One, shut your businesses down, mess with your workforce. That was one thing. But then also, let's hold up other funding that we would use to help people in a time when your businesses have been shut down. So pulling back federal funding, another part of the attack. This is after tariffs. So yes, we see what happens to a business in Minneapolis, but if you're a farmer in Moorhead, you've already been dealing with tariffs. You had snap cuts, which got after your, which undercut a bunch of your business, and now they're messing with your workforce. So this is everywhere. We are all connected with this, and I'm glad we are. I'm glad it is not the idea that you can take a shot at just one community. It's like, oh, we'll just attack the Somali community. Can't do that. We are all connected. We're all in this together. And so an injury to one is absolutely an injury to all. And people need to be reminded of that. And in a way, I hope it never changes. We need that connection, and people need to see that. But again, I'm here to also hear what y'all have to say as well.
If you don't mind, you can add do you have any numbers statewide?
Oh my gosh.
Assessment.
Well, that's just it. Right now, that's been a challenge, is that people are trying to figure out their assessment. Minneapolis has had the numbers first, right? Some first numbers. Then you have Columbia Heights was saying, I think, about what, 70, 80,000? Did you know? They're talking about how much overtime their police came as they're coming to people's aid. I don't think we're going to know this right away. And this is why we can't let people forget about this. It will take a while for the numbers to come in, so we can't let them forget that this economic attack is ongoing and that we still have to get that. But if that's those numbers you see in Minneapolis, you're going to see something similar in most metro areas, and you're going to see it through every industry in the state. So we all have to keep digging those numbers out. Thank you.
Julie.
You bet.
So much. Very great. Thank you. And this is really great. Thank you so much for elaborating on all of that. And as you said, you're right. And when I see the attack that we're the receiving end of this attack, it is not only economic, it is social, it is also psychological. And to be honest, I don't know how much effect it had already on the psychology of our young ones. Because imagine people who grew up here, born here, some of them, and now they're told they're not Americans anymore, you know? So that needs to be assessed as well. So I think at the end of the day, we'll need a full assessment of what happened to the Minnesotans, and when ICE surge came.
We talk about chaos is cost.
Yes.
Every part of it has a direct financial cost. That shouldn't be the only way we measure any of this. It wouldn't matter even if it did cost us a dime, it's wrong.
Exactly.
But it often, this kind of stuff shows up
Yes.
in numbers.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. And next question. When we finish the question, this will be the last question. We're going to ask our Hennepin County Sheriff, Dewana Witt. Welcome again. And the question is, as you know, safety and stability are fundamental for our communities. At the same time, many immigrant families want to feel confident in interacting with local law enforcement without fear or misunderstanding. How can county leadership and community organizations work together to strengthen trust between law enforcement and immigrant communities while ensuring safety and dignity for everyone across Hennepin County? For instance, when ICE called last time and the sheriff's office, and there were personnel from sheriff's office, some people thought they are with them and they are working with them. So if you could elaborate more on that and explain and how the community and sheriff's office can work more closely together on the safety and rebuilding trust between the sheriff's office and sheriff's personnel and the community leaders and community in general. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. You betcha. That's a big question, and I have all the answers. I will tell you that. But first I want to start by sheriff's office also impacted. I think we're close to $1 million as far as the cost for overtime for our deputies. That includes the Whipple building. Some people ask, why are we at the Whipple building? That has always been a part of the sheriff's office primary patrol area, so we will have to respond there at all times. In regards to some of my employees also being impacted, I had employees who were afraid to come to work. I had deputies who had uniforms on that were carrying their passports because they were afraid that they would also be taken. So, it's impacted us financially, it's impacted us mentally, and the way that we do business. Now, in regards to what it looks like as far as the sheriff's office cooperating with ICE, first I want to say this. There are two subdivisions of ICE. There is immigration enforcement and there's human trafficking. Those both fall under ICE. We do work with them on human trafficking. That is criminal. We do not work with them in any such way as far as immigration enforcement. Second, there are 87 sheriffs in Minnesota, but there's only one sheriff on that lawsuit from the DOJ because of non-cooperation. That sheriff's me. If you look at that lawsuit, you will clearly see why they're going after me. My policies, when I ran, the policies that I held since I've been here, is that we do not cooperate. We do not even allow ICE in our garage to pick up people unless they have a warrant signed by a judge. Nothing has changed with that. When Borders Our Home and talked about an unprecedented number of sheriffs that have are now cooperating, your Hennepin County Sheriff was not one of those sheriffs. I do believe in the power of communication. If I have an adult on the other end of a table, let's talk about it. And the one thing I found myself doing was educating Mr. Holman as far as how Minnesota strong we are, specifically Minneapolis and Hennepin County. And I can tell you this, I do appreciate the fact that he did listen. And he did say, you guys are a little bit different up here. Yeah, we're a lot of different. I'll go back to that song, They're Not Like Us. We're different, right? You know, now when it comes to like people, I want to address this because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I think some of it is just because we got to do a better job talking about what the laws are. And so, you know, ICE, it doesn't matter if it's ICE, it doesn't matter if it's one of our residents, it doesn't matter who it is. If there's a help call, my oath is that we will show up. You know, I will think about the incident down there at the near the Kamal Mall, where we did show up there. And we could see that it was escalating. Part of the de-escalation decisions that our sheriff's deputies made were the longer that ICE stayed there, the more of our people were going to get hurt. So it was part of the strategic plan, get them out of there, because the longer they stayed, the more people were going to get hurt. That's not what we want. And it wasn't even our body camera. It was one of the community observers on one of their cameras where you could clearly hear our deputies telling them, you guys need to get out of here. You know, so there is that. At the Whipple building, that has been one of a hard call that I had to make for us to be there. But at the end of the day, the law says that I have to provide peace within the entire county. So that is our primary patrol area, as I said. But here's something that no one can dispute. The longer we were out there, the less those agents came in terrorizing our communities. That's undisputed. I would rather have it be our local authorities there than them because, again, one of the things that I've been called to D.C. to testify, one of the things that I had a press conference at our Capitol and testified is the lack of training and how they are treating people. I was not quiet about that. And so, you know, again, a lot of tough decisions because I got to tell you, even some of the things, you know, because of the misunderstandings of why we are there, that my deputies had to endure, like statements, go shoot yourself, jump off of a building, go do this. And they're dealing with this and they're taking it home. They're having to go home and talk to their families about what they're seeing out there too. I have always offered myself up to be open to having conversations, you know, and you know, at the end of the day, there might be some things that we disagree on, but at least you have factual information. And it's so unfortunate that there's so much misinformation. The job of the sheriff's office, the job of any law enforcement agency is to keep the peace. So when I think about protesters, and let's make this clear, there's a difference between a protester and a rioter and an antagonist. Those are three different things, three different types of people. The majority of the people who have been there peacefully protested. And you know what? Kudos to them for doing that. But when people step over the line as far as breaking laws, we do have to step in. We have been asked, you know, why haven't we arrested any ICE agents? Unfortunately for us and our communities, they were under orders that they legally were able to do the things that they did, and we did not agree with it. And so for a deputy to interfere with a federal order could possibly lead them to being arrested for interfering. And so this is what I would say. Kind of like Mr. Holman said, we are different. I think we're smarter. I think we're more strategic. I think we're better. And sometimes some incidents have to be that long game. But to put my deputies at risk of being arrested and losing their jobs could not be an option. Now, we know that even as recent as last week, where there were some people who would appear to be ICE agents, and they're not, they're bounty hunters, pointing guns at people in our communities. We are investigating those things. I know people would like us to be more quick and transparent about things, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes when you're quick, you might say the wrong thing. I'm more focused on being accurate because community trust is important. And if I say something wrong, that's what people are going to grasp onto. I would rather be accurate. And so that's where it comes into building relationships. Because, you know, with all the noise and the rhetoric out there, I know if people know who I am, they can say, I know my sheriff and that's not her. And so that's why relationship building has to be a thing. Now, as we're talking about going back to the funding thing, some of the other things, because of our policies at the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, there have been federal grants taken away from me to fight terrorism. There have been federal grants taken away from me to fight the drug trafficking issues we have here in Minnesota, and we are a corridor for drug trafficking. So I am losing funding in all kinds of ways. And then now I'm dealing with, with the budgetary crisis that the county is in as a whole, being asked, what are your statutory mandates? Meaning, what is it that state law says that I have to do? Because I have to consider what things do I have to cut as a sheriff. Well, let me tell you something that's not a statutory mandate. Building trust in the community, treating people with humanity, having enough staff so that we are proactive to truly build those relationships. So while it's not a state mandate, it's a humane mandate. And so those are the things I'm going to continue fighting doing. And again, as your sheriff, I will always be able to explain if you ask questions. If you're not sure, ask, because, you know, again, the misinformation out there is quite a bit. And a lot of my staff, including myself, are so busy reacting to misinformation, and it takes us from doing the real job. We need to remember there are still other people preying in on our communities, and we have to be ready to protect it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hassan. Thank you so much, Sheriff. We appreciate it. And if you have any questions, you will be able to ask our officials. But now I would like to give to Brother Abdi to continue and conclude, and hopefully. And I'm a person who has two events at the same time sometimes. So yeah, exactly. So I apologize if I don't stay with you towards the end, because I have another event that I have to attend very soon. Thank you so much all for being here. Everyone here is important. You're all leaders of our community, whether you are civic leaders and, you know, or community leaders, all of you, we appreciate you show up and you come. Our media personnel also, thank you so much for, you know, covering this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Imam Yusuf. This is something actually new for all of us. We're doing things different a little bit here. And we would like to continue doing, having these kinds of meetings moving forward. I think when we talk to one another, that's when we create trust. That's when we create a relationship. And that's how we move forward. At the end of the day, we are all Minnesotans and we are all human beings. And human beings understand each other when they talk and interact and, discuss their issues amongst them. So I'm going to call 6 people that I have their names here. You can either raise a comment or ask a question to our public officials or just a comment. I have Jonathan, I have Simon, I have Yusuf here, I have Saido, I have Anshur Ahmed, Anshur, and then I have Abdul Qadir. And then obviously our Aunt Ada Abshiro, if you have any questions or comments, feel free. But we want to really make this meeting more meaningful. And you know, I was writing my notes. I want to have some sort of outcome from here in order for us to move forward. So I'm going to start with Jonathan. If you have any questions or comments, I know you're very connected. So
Well, thank you, everybody. I'm not an elected official yet. I want to make that clear. I'm a candidate. The reason that I was invited was because Cecito and I have been talking for quite a while over the years, over different campaigns. But I'm also been the DFL chair or vice chair of my Senate district for the last 10 years. And one of the places outside of South Minneapolis, which has obviously been a lot of the focus, Columbia Heights and Fridley is where I'm from. And that is where Liam Ramos, the little boy with the bunny hat, that's 2 minutes away from my house. One of the things you may not know is that the day after Liam and his father were taken, we had signal chats that we set up going back before the surge actually started because we saw what was coming. And so over the signal chat, we got the word that Liam's family was being staked out by ICE again. They had the father, they had the little boy, but they were after the mother and the teenage son. Very next day, while they were dealing with the tragedy of losing their family members already, they're right back at it. And the good news is that by the time I arrived after I saw the message, I was there about 15 minutes after the message initially went out. It's when I saw it. I happened to be working from home that day. I was close. I was able to get out there. By the time I got there, Columbia Heights Police Department SUVs were already on the scene and the ICE vehicles were gone. And that is the message and the strength that we are seeing in our community right now. We've set up mutual aid groups to make sure that our families are being taken care of, that we're getting people back and forth from work, that our schools are safe. And this is where it gets personal to me, okay? My wife was not born in the United States. She was born in Korea. She came here when she was 11 months old. She was naturalized when she was 5. It's the only home she's ever known. She's proud to be an American. And I'm very proud of her. She just had her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, hon. But since Trump's first term, she's been carrying her passport with her. And we had to get new passports for the kids this last summer because we saw what was coming. And the trust we are going to have in each other, it is what I believe is going to get us through this. It is going to be the sense of community that we build and being able to turn the hearts of the people who aren't there yet. And that's the hard part, because you're fighting against prejudices and insecurities and fear that have been stoked by people who don't have the best interests of our country at heart. And the ability that we have with each other to build up community, to restore trust, to realize that our local law enforcement is actually not the bad guy, that our state is better when we take care of each other. And Paul Wellstone, who's one of my personal heroes, said it best: we all do better when we all do better. And that's how we take care of each other. And that's how we thrive. We don't just survive, we thrive. We protect ourselves. And Minnesota, to its credit, has shown the nation how things get done and how to stand up against what we've been facing for 2 terms now. So it's up to us. We have to trust in the better natures of our citizens, of our residents, of our communities. And only by lifting each other up do we all succeed. And it's going to take a lot of work to overcome the trauma that's been inflicted on our cities. I've talked to cities and students who are terrified of going out of their homes. I've talked to families who are afraid to step out their front door. That's going to take time to recover from. When you've got entire communities that have been told that they are less than because of where they are from or how they look. We have to build each other up. And it's communities and conversations like this that is going to be part of the process that makes that happen. So thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jonathan. Very powerful words. I'm going to call Saida now. We have about 20 minutes until the dinner time, Iftar dinner time. So try to limit your comments or questions to 2 minutes. Well, that's fine. That's no, I didn't tell you about this, but moving forward, it doesn't apply to you.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello to you all. It's an honor and privilege to be standing before you. It's very exciting. You know, we have been thinking about this for a while, to gather, you know, all of us in this beautiful table, because what united us is much greater than our differences. We all eat, we all sleep, we want safety, we want education, we want better lives for all of us. And so if we all come together to work together in a solidarity, in empathy, in understanding, we wouldn't be where we are today. And so we create this table and this circle for not only us, when I say us, that's how they want us to see each other. That we're different, but we're not. We're all united. And regardless of how we dress, regardless of our colors, if you cut my skin, you all see a blood, and it's red. And we're all human. You breathe. And when we understand that, we will overcome everything. And so having this table to bring those who we elect to represent us to this table and come together, moving forward, what we have done better, what we have did better, what we're doing moving forward, how do we overcome issues, and how we work together with our elected officials, because as much as we need them, they need us to feed them with information, to feed them and work with them in terms of issues. You know, as my friends say, when I do better, and my children do better, and my family do better, and my community do better, we all do better. I will phrase it another way. And so in this table, it's not just the beginning. We will continue. And we will hear from us talking about different issues and bringing different groups to this table to talk about what united us. Because we don't have that much difference. You're all driving a car, you're all going to work, you're all paying bills. And so we have to know that I do my part and you do your part, and we understand each other and we support and uplift each other, and we will go from here. So I wanted to say thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you all. There's beautiful people like my friend Simon. I know him over 20 years. He was young. I thought I was older than you, man. Yes. So, and also I just get a message from Kevin. We are trying to host a bigger event with Hennepin County Commissioners, and he's going to be helping us host that. So there's going to be another event coming up with all the commissioners. And also my friend Jonathan was working on bringing all the different mayors to another event. And we will do our best. But I wanted to say welcome, happy Ramadan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saido. Saido is one of the most well-known and most effective leaders in our community. So thanks to her again. I want to call another leader in our community that really has been, I have been working with him directly last 3 months with the table. He is also a board member of Islamic Association of North America, IANA. He will talk about that. It's one of the biggest organizations in the country. They have more than, I guess, 40 centers in the country from east to west. Most of the centers are located here in Minnesota. But I want him to either ask a question or give a comment. Ahmed Anshur.
Assalamu alaikum all. Thank you very much, Abdurrahman, for organizing this event tonight. And thank you all for participating and joining us here tonight to discuss important issues that is touching all of us. As Abdurrahman mentioned, we had been working in the community, on the streets, in rallies, and press conferences, and special iftars for the observers who came to our masajids. We had been doing a lot together. And when we come together on goals that we share, on things that touch us all, on things that unite us all, it creates a powerful community that's working together to uplift the community and make a difference. Every single day we do a thing or two to make things better. I came from, this evening, I came from the Caucasus. We had a District 66A Senate caucus, and I was a delegate. And a lot of people came, and we passed a lot of resolutions there, very important ones. And we sent 20 people to the state convention. It's an important thing that we had been doing together. We made an iftar last week for our observers at our masjid. I am a board member of IANA, but at the same time, I'm the executive director of Al-Ihsan Islamic Center in St. Paul. I am in a group chat that's about 300 people. A signal. Mainstream people are working, coming to our masjid to protect us from ICE, to protect us from anything that is disturbing our prayers during the night in the Ramadan time. And we said, why don't we make a special iftar for them to come and join and see the community and intermingle with the community and see our community in different ways. So it was important to do that, and we invited the mayor of St. Paul to join us, which was really amazing that she was fasting the whole Ramadan. Imagine. Yeah, it was on the 14th night, and she said, I was fasting the last 14 days. That is a solidarity. That's a show of respect to our faith, show of respect to the foreigners, the people in St. Paul. And the same thing here. We have leaders, state leaders. We had the mayor, we had the other elected officials, we have the sheriff. And it is an opportunity to create a unity for all of us. And it is an opportunity to engage each other to do better moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. I'm going to call Simon, but before him, I'm gonna let Saido introduce him to us. They go way back, and so I'm not going to do a good work on make introduction for us, but I'll let Saido do that, and then after that we have I think 3 more people, and then I will ask again if you can limit your talk into maybe 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah.
Oh my God, you put me on the spot. But you asking me to introduce my brother from another mother. It's someone I love dearly. You know, if you want to know a little bit about Simon, he said, yes, we go way back. I think I met Simon 2008, about 2008. And ever since then, we have been friends. You know, his first baby, his wife, Jennifer, was pregnant that time. And his baby, I saw him a couple of days ago, and I was like, I am so old. He's taller than him. And so it's just like, you know, he loved the Somali community so much. To the point where he was one of the co-organizers of the 5 million meal, if you know or not, I don't know. He went all the way to Somalia, a country he has no idea. 2017, Somalia was really bad at that time in terms of war, and, you know, it was not safe. And it was not safe for me, let alone a white guy. But we went there, were there 9 days and came back, and the 5 million meal was the birth of that. And right now, this year, the same, actually worse drought is happening in Somalia. All the animals are dying, and trees are gone. The whole country is just, is really bad. And I wanted to thank him personally. Right now he's running, he was a city council in Richville, and now he's running for Senate, Minnesota Senate. And we want to help you. We want to have you in that table, because I know you're going to be the man for everyone, not only Somalis, but all Minnesotans regardless. And I wanted to invite you to this. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sister.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know when I die, I hope is there to speak at my funeral. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, Ramadan Mubarak, everybody. My name is Simon Troutman Cordova, and I am running for the state Senate seat in Senate District 51. And it is such a privilege to be here tonight amongst friends, amongst brothers and sisters. And I want to say this, my relationship with the Somali community starts out of a deep and profound prejudice. And let me explain why. because the first Somali person I met was one of my first clients. And when I was a poor and broke lawyer, she said, "Why don't you come to my house and I'll feed you dinner?" And she said, "Do you have any winter clothes for your baby yet?" "No." "Well, here, our kids are grown. Here, the first jacket that my baby Justice wore was Saida Shai's baby's jacket." And so my deep prejudice is that I met one Somali person and I thought, they must all be like this. And I have not been disappointed. I have not been disappointed. And so when people talk about the Somali community, I know that I've received more than I could ever give. I know that our state has received more than we could give because Somali Minnesotans are Minnesotans. And I also want to say this on a very serious note. It's my privilege as a lawyer to fight. I get the privilege of leading a dozen attorneys and even more staff, and we have a mission to build prosperity and power within our community, and we do that with everybody, but primarily we do that by representing Black, Latino, and first-generation immigrant business owners and entrepreneurs. And so it's my privilege to be Liba on behalf of the community. And I'll tell you, I'll know this, and we'll say this for whoever's watching, that we know that more than 97% of Somali Minnesotans are citizens and have status. No, more than 91% have status. So when masked gunmen that are federal agents show up at the Carmel Mall, at the 24 Mall, they're more likely to find undocumented people at the Mall of America than at the Carmel Mall. And so if you're not actually looking for undocumented people, they were looking for something else. They were looking for violence, they were looking for unrest, and they didn't find it. What they found were lawful citizens that were organized, that were investing in our economy, that were building prosperity and power in our community. So I just want to call that out, and I just want to say that I see that, and I embrace that, and it's my privilege to fight for that, and I'll continue to shout that from the rooftops, that we don't have Somali Minnesotans, we don't have Latino Minnesotans, and when we don't have Black Minnesotans, when we think about the devastation that's happening, and I'll just say for a moment, the economic devastation, we have a COVID level event, but it's happening almost exclusively right now to Black and brown businesses. And instead of federal help, we have federal trauma. And I'll say this, as a Puerto Rican Minnesotan, we are very used to the federal government being an obstacle and not an agent of help. And there's a phrase in Puerto Rico that people began to use when we realized the federal government was not going to help us. And it's nos tenemos, which means we have us. We have us. And so I just want to share on night Ramadan Mubarak and just say, we have us. We have us. And so, and this is, and I'll just end with this. The us is getting bigger. And that the federal government had an agenda to divide us. And as somebody that has the privilege of standing with leaders in the Somali community, and the Black community, and the Latino community, and the Asian community, I have waited all my adult life to hear the conversations that I'm having right now, which are African American leaders saying, we need to redefine who we is. Latino leaders saying we need to stand up with our Black and our Somali leaders and neighbors, and Somali leaders saying, can you connect me with Latino leaders because we want to stand with them. So for everybody who's standing here together, I know we have Christians here, we have Muslims here. I want to say thank you. I want to say we have us, and I want to say we are not just sending a message to each other, we're sending a message to our whole state, we're sending a message to our country that we have us. And so thank you, Ramadan Mubarak, and blessings.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته وحواي دمانتين وسلامتين عاو هالكان أفر أدو ونأكسن أياك دعي أو إصود ديارسي هيئة Ummah Vision سالة سعطان هيئة Ummah Vision وهيئة وقت بدن جرتي ضد بدن وتقانين أي كمديين أنا وحنا هاي بريزيدنتيجا وحنا فايس بريزيدنت ولالك حدك أو برنامج أنت ضب كهل دونا عبد الرحمن عبد الله حدك وأنت ضب كهل دونا سدا وجدان كوميونتيين وحياة بدن أياك يعني كدب بدن با كجري meelo badan oo community u baahan yahayna baahi baa ka jirtay dhinaca dhalinyarada ha noqoto dhinaca familiyada ha noqoto hay'adeenu marka projectiyada wada waxa kamid ah projectiga la yiraahdo Mawadda wa Raxma oo loogu talagalay familiyada nimanka iyo gabdhaha iyo wiilasha isqaba iyo ilmahooda in jacayl iyo wanaag iyo qurux ay sameeyaan sida la socotaan ma April shii hore waxaan qabanay event weyn oo ilaa 400 qof ay ka soo qayb gashay oo ugu talagalay barnaamijyada family-da ama family engagement ama family relationship wax la yiraahdo projectiga ku xiga waa projectigan caaway oo ah civic engagement-iga Somali American family leader Somali American future leaders ayaa la yiraahdaa meel fiican ayuu marayaa muddo badan ayaanu la kulmaynay dad kala duwan caawa sida u jeedaan dad badan oo mas'uuliyiin ah ayaa ka soo qayb galay qaybta saddexaadna waa qaybta aanu rabno centerkii weynaa ee Ummah Vision Ummah centerkii inaanu dhisno oo ah center aan ugu talagalay youth-ka oo asagana waqti badan aanu wadnay haatan insha Allah meel fiican maraya marka waxaan rabaa inaan dhammaan u mahadceliyo dadkii nagala soo qayb galay iyo dadkii nala soo diyaariyay halkaan aan ku dhigayno waxa iska leh shakhsi kamid ah Ummah Vision oo space kan ugu deeqay walaalkay Roble oo asagana aad ugu mahadcelinayo dhammaan ummadii ka soo qayb gashay dadkii mas'uuliyiinta ah ka soo qayb galay kamid ahaayeen state orator-ka kamid ahaayeen some of the Hennepin County commissioners Mayor Jacob Farey Simon Trotman Jonathan oo asagana ka soo qayb galay iyo dhammaan intii kale muxuu ahaa Hennepin County Sheriff kulligood waxaan ugu mahadcelinayaa ma sha Allah hawshan way soconaysaa la socdo qaybteena kaleeto oo ayadana dhawaan imaanaysa insha Allah oo aan casuumi doono all Hennepin County commissioners إن شاء الله وبالله التوفيق والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
برنامج كعاو وحا سودياري أو سوق بنقابي هيئة Ummah Vision Ummah Vision وهيئة مدبدا كجرتي قبل كان يمجالدا مينيابوليس عاو وحن سمينا إن الشقة قبضت قيب كمدة شقة صواه civic engagement أنا أسكو حرنو bulshada oo ah jaaliyada halka ku nool iyo dadka madaxda noo ah madaxda soo magacaabay iyo kuwa la doortay labaduba qaar kamid ah caawa wayna la joogeen khayr badan baa in yar rajeenaya waa mahadsantihiin markale as arkeena wassalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatuh